How many of you think that there are more right-hander than a left-hander? Please raise your hand. Okay, I got you there, some of you there. Statistically, there are like approximately 10 to 15% of the UK population, they are left-hander. And I recently read a BBC article which says the left-handers are not only a minority, they are the last neglected minority. Mrs. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. For you who do not know me well, I am a left-hander, and today my speech I'm going to talk to you all about the challenges of being a left-hander. First challenge is to define or to go against the norm of using right hand. In traditional Chinese culture, being a left-hander is something to be frowned upon, and this is, I think, almost similar to any other traditional culture which associate left with sinister, evil, and unlucky. At the very beginning of my primary school education, I realized that all of my schoolmates, they use right hand to do their homework. And during recess time, they all gather around and they started to realize that I am a bit different. And some of them come to me, say, my daddy said that you should not use your left hand, it's bad for you. Some even made a bolder statement, and she said, my gong gong, which means grandfather, says that you do not have a good future because you use your left hand. The teacher will hate you. I was afraid at that time, and I definitely do not want my teacher to hate me. And I tried my best to use my right hand to write my homework. And it was difficult. But I tried. And it took me longer than usual to finish my work. One day, my teacher gave us a pile of homework, and I couldn't finish them before my bedtime. I got worried, nervous, and I started to cry. My mother noticed that, and she said, dear, why are you crying? And I told her all the stories. And she said, I will go and see your teacher tomorrow. Luckily, my teacher said that it was okay for me to use my left hand. Second challenge. I always get unreasonable high expectation from people. Example, when I was young, after realizing that I am a left-hander, my relative would come to me and say that, wow, left-hander, very smart, very clever. And some even come to my parents and say that, your son, left-hander, must be a doctor next time. Guess what? I managed to prove them wrong. I never been a top scorer or score very well in my studies during my whole entire primary school education. Or I'm not a doctor either, I'm an engineer. Second example, my friends would ask me to come to play for football. British fan 4 years ago, and then they would ask me, mates, I think you're a left-hander, you should stand on the left side of the field. You've got good sports talent. Guess what? I managed to prove them wrong again. When I did not score for my team, and they would come back to me and say, you have wasted your talent. Why did you not use your left foot more often? I know sometimes people do associate left-handers with some left-handed celebrities, but I'm not one of them. Occasionally, I do receive some strange look from people when they realize that I am a left-hander. Left-hander? As if they know everything about me. And once again, I prove them wrong. Third challenge is that my school teachers always complain about my messy schoolwork and handwriting. Do you know that as a left-hander, when you write from the left to right, our left palm always rub against the word that we have just written. So this is what we call smudging the ink or pencil lead on the surface paper. And I could still remember my Indian neighbor nanny who always scolded me after I finished my homework. She said, "Ayoyo, what happened to your hand? So dirty. Go and wash." People wash their hand because they accidentally touch something dirty, but I wash my hand because I do my homework. That's not fair. But I'm not too worried about that because my mother always tells me that doctors' handwriting are not only messy but also unreadable. Despite all of these challenges, to go against the norm of using the right hand, to receive unreasonable high expectation, and finally messy handwriting, I've been trained to adapt and to solve problems around me. So next time, for right-handers, if you have some difficult, challenging problems that need to be solved, please do not hesitate to ask your left-handed friends for help. But, if you want someone to write a note for you, I can tell you that we are not the right one.
And can we please have a minute's silence?
I didn't realize that I was part of a very specialized group until recently I read an article from the BBC website which described us as the last neglected minority. In this group, we have Jack the Ripper, Winston Churchill, Albert Einstein, and even Bart Simpson. This is such an exclusive group that study shows we are being paid 15% more on average than other employees, and our numbers are rising. Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and some guests, I am a proud member of the Left-Handed Liberation Front. For those of you who are left-handed, and I've spotted a few left-handers here today, for those of you who are left-handers, you must have faced this classic challenge. That is to go against the norm of using the right hand. In traditional Chinese culture, being a left-hander is something to be frowned upon. And I think this is similar to any other traditional culture which associates left with bad, sinister, and unlucky. I could still remember during my primary school education, I was the only left-hander in my class. I used my left hand to write, to draw, and to play badminton. And my friends found that I was weird. Eventually, they came to me and said, "Don't use your left hand. My daddy said it's bad for you." And some even told me, my gong gong, which is grandparents in Chinese, said that you do not have good future because you use your left hand. The teacher will hate you. At that age, I do not want my teacher to hate me. I was shy and afraid of making any mistakes. So I tried my very best to use my right hand to do my homework. I could tell you all that it was difficult and it took me longer than usual to finish my schoolwork. One day, my school teacher gave us a pile of homework and I couldn't finish them before my bedtime. I was worried, scared, and started to cry. My mother noticed that and she asked me, "Dear, why are you crying?" I told her everything. And the next day she went to see my teacher, and luckily my teacher said that it was okay for me to use my left hand to do my homework. But that leads to my second challenge. Because my teacher said that it was okay for me to use my left hand, I now receive unreasonable high expectation from most of my relatives. And when they spotted me as a left-hander, they said, "Wow, left-hander, very smart, very clever." And some even came to my parents. "Your son, left-hander, must be a doctor next time." I'm sad to say that I managed to prove them wrong. I was never the top of my class, and I'm not a doctor either. 4 years ago, when I came to UK and started to play football, I was given a look by my British mate when they realized that I'm a left-hander, like this. I'm left-handed. Well, they always assume anything, but I can tell you that being a left-hander, a foreigner, and playing football at the At that time, they thought that I was the new Diego Armando Maradona, the most famous Argentinian footballer. And one of them came to me and said, Eugene, you are left-handed. You must have good sports talent like Maradona. I'm sure that you'll be to the next team. I'm sad to say that I managed to prove them wrong. When I did not score for my team, they came back to me and said, you have wasted an opportunity. What happened to you? You should use your left foot more often. Third challenge is that my school teacher always complained about my messy schoolwork and handwriting. As a left-hander, when you write from the left to right, our left palm always rub over the words that we have just written. So ink, pencil, lead, crayons always get smudged. I could still remember my nanny always scolding me every time I finished my schoolwork by saying, Ayoyo, what happened to your hand? So dirty. Go and wash. People wash their hand because they accidentally touched something dirty, but I wash my hand because I did my homework. That's not fair. But I'm not too worried about that because my mother always tells me, doctors' handwriting are not only messy, but unreadable. Because of all these challenges, go against the norm of using right hand, receive unreasonable high expectation, and messy handwriting. I'm good at adapting and solving the problems around me at a very early age. So for those of you who has problems that need to be solved, please go and ask your left-handed friends for help. Einstein, Churchill may be gone, but there are others left-handers around in this world, like Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and if you do not like them,